on, everybody? It's Azazel2012. Got some gameplay on Titanfall today, mixing it up a little bit. This time I've got some gameplay from the map Nexus, which honestly is one of only maybe 2 or 3 maps on Titanfall that I don't particularly care for. And I do go off in this game. I go like 15-1 on pilots, and I kill like 5 Titans. I do some work. And I had a lot of fun in this match, even though it's a garbage map. It's too open, lots of rooftop shit. It kind of bores me to play this. And I've been kind of switching up some games here lately, trying to, get some different things in my video game repertoire. And it made me start thinking about my past with video games. So I want to start back at the beginning and kind of tell you guys where I started, how I became a gamer. I remember being real young and going to my grandfather's house in Louisiana and playing Atari there with some of my cousins. And I don't know if you guys remember Atari, but it wasn't exactly the peak of technological advances. At the time, it was pretty insane. It was a video game that you could bring home, and at that time, that was pretty much unheard of. And I don't remember a whole lot of Atari because I was really young then, 4, 5, 6 years old. And by the time I was about 6, I had already had my own Nintendo. And I was playing games like Mario Brothers, of course, because who hasn't played Mario Brothers? Games like Castlevania 2, what was it? The Curse of Simon Belmont or something. I can't remember what it was. Simon's Quest. That's what it was. Simon's Quest. Castlevania 2. That, to this day, is still one of my favorite video games of all time. I love that game. And then I also was into games like Bad Dudes, which was like a side-scrolling, button-mashing, beat-em-up game. And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the original one, and the one that was based off of the old arcade game, which was also awesome. And then, of course, as I got older, I started moving into other consoles. The Super Nintendo, the Sega Genesis, both of those consoles. I had both of them. I was a big video game nerd back then. And I played, of course, Super Mario World. And that's where I got real big into fighting games like Street Fighter 2. And for the longest time, fighting games were just about the only damn game I would play. Street Fighter 2, Primal Rage, the original Killer Instinct. And then I played things like Sonic the Hedgehog on the Sega Genesis. And actually, at the time, the first Mortal Kombat game was actually better on the Sega Genesis than it was on the Super Nintendo. The graphics were actually better, which was weird because the Sega Genesis was actually a weaker system in comparison. Then things moved on, and I got into the Nintendo 64, and this is when I really started picking up first-person shooters, because I started playing Duke Nukem a lot. I played Duke Nukem 64, and I played it on the PC and loved it, and this is where I started getting more competitive with it, and started playing with friends, hooking up 2, 3 controllers, and playing the shit out of this, in my grandmother's basement when I was 12, 13 years old. And then, of course, the 64 became obsolete whenever the PlayStation came out, and I became obsessed with the PlayStation. I played anything and everything. The Resident Evil games. I loved Metal Gear Solid. God, I loved Metal Gear Solid. Played the shit out of that. And then what else was there? Final Fantasy VII was probably one of my favorite games on the first PlayStation. And that was when I really got into RPGs for a while. And when I moved into the PlayStation 2, of course, I played Final Fantasy X, which I still love. And I don't know if anyone remembers this on the PlayStation 1. I just thought of it. Legend of Dragoon. God, I wish they would have made more of those games because they were so much fun. And then finally started getting into what we would consider more modern times of consoles. I got into the PlayStation 2 and played the shit out of Tekken 4 and Tekken Tag. And, the Final Fantasy X, like I mentioned. And then moved on later on into the Xbox 360. And, of course, here I am on the Xbox One playing Titanfall. So the reason I made this commentary is I kind of wanted to know, what kind of games did you play growing up as a kid? And what was the first console you owned or first PC that you owned? What games did you have on it? And what did you think about it? Man, I just remember going back and thinking about all those games that I played and staying up till 5 in the morning. The first time I played Resident Evil, it scared the shit out of me. I was 14 years old. I played the crap out of Resident Evil, and the first night that I played it, it was storming outside, and it scared the hell out of me because every time it would thunder and lightning would hit, it would be right as a time when a zombie or a dog would be jumping out, so it'd make me jump. It was awesome. It was back in the day when gaming was huge for me. So share your stories with me. Let me know what games you guys played and what kind of stuff you're playing now, and if it compares to what you used to play. I'd like to hear kind of your video game history if you've got it. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate all the support you've been giving me here lately. You guys have a good one. It's been Azazel.